Ooh, yeah. Oh, man. Another day, another week, another dollar. You hear me? It is Joshua Lamb here, host of Can't Silence the Lamb. Because that's one thing you can't do is silence this son of a bitch. Okay, let me tell you that. I'll start it off right there, right now. Hey, happy Wednesday, huh? Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday today. First, I want to address something. And when I say address something, it's talking about how I'm dressed. I like this shirt. But sitting down in it, I look like some sort of like fresh ass homeless man. You feel me? Because you got them homeless men, but then you got fresh ass homeless men. And right now I be looking fresh, but like a homeless man. If you're catching me, if you're feeling me, got the tee on, oversized, as you can see. You can't get more oversized than what you got here. The sleeves are almost touching the wrists. And that's when you know it's oversized. But I need you to notice, I got a little purple to match the little thing up top. Yeah, feel me? Yeah, that's something I want to address about how I dressed today. What a week. What a week. I'm not going to lie. You're probably looking at me and you're thinking, man, he's glowing. He's glowing. It's not because I got the crisp new cut on me. You feel me? And it's not because I got the little glow light going on me. You hear me? It's because your boy has been playing. I go as my fantasy team goes. You know that saying is when they're like, oh, yeah, our team goes as fucking he goes. We go as far as he goes. Listen, I go as far as these fucking 3 fantasy teams go. I'm talking about everything. I ain't just talking about fantasy. I ain't talking about how these guys are carrying me to a chip. I'm talking about how far they go is how I'm feeling outside in the real world, bitch. I hate to say it, but it dictates. It dictates the attitude, dictates the feel and the vibes. And if you ask anybody, I'm all about the vibes, baby. But the guy's been playing. Let's start off with that. And usually I don't like to give away how the week went because I like to keep you motherfuckers on the toes. Stinky ass toes. I know those toes stink. They stink. But yeah, let's get into it. I want to start off with the first league that finished first. You know what I mean? My 2 other leagues, we were kind of going deep into Monday night and to see how things kind of, panned out. And I talking pan like them little feet, the little stinky toes I was just talking about. Okay, so let's talk about my 12-team league. My 12-team league, the old J-Chips Love Nuts. My golfer boys, my golfer gang. I went up against the world-renowned, the legend himself, Mr. Dylan O'Toole. The kid something special. If I remember correctly, he is the defending champ. And I wasn't in this league 2 years ago, but I think he's the 2-time defending champ. And I was going up against him this week. And that guy was talking that shit, baby. One thing that guy can do is talk that shit. And going into the week, after he put up an absolute stinker week 1 that I made sure everybody was aware of, I went in feeling pretty juicy, as I should and as I always do. After coming off a very tough week 1 loss for me, like I said, he laid a stinker, but he won. He was 1-0. I was 0-1. I lost by 0.04 points. It's something I don't like to talk about. It's something I don't like to discuss. It haunts me at night, and that's just what it is. By the hands of my good buddy Ridge, love him to death, and hope to talk to you soon, Bubs. So, looking at this week for my 12 team, my battle against my boy Dylan O'Toole. So, one thing I like to acknowledge is luck that comes with fantasy. You know what I mean? And I've discussed this multiple times that we're not the ones playing. And I've said it over and over and over again. If there was just a whole bunch of me's out there, listen, that's a chip. I don't care who it is. Give me Interesting. A couple of new reports. Got the reports coming in. I like to stay up to date and with crisp reports. But I don't have, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 roster slots. Put me in the quarterback spot. I'm going to give you a couple rushing yards. I could sling it a little something. But put me in the other 8 spots, skill positions. I even got a leg on me. That kick a leg. Throw righty, but I kick left. You know what I mean? That's what happens when you got a boot on you. You don't want to have too much power on one side of your body, is what I was told from the doctors. The doctors told me that, and, I'm going to run with it with these golden legs. So what I'm saying is listen, you got to have some luck in this game. It's not all about your projections, because everybody knows projections are dog shit, even though they make you feel good when you finish a week and you go into the next and you're projected more. You got to get that little bit of like pride and sensation of like the team that you built. All the experts think you're better than the team you're about to play. Oh, does that get me hot? But like I said, they're bullshit. And they constantly let you down. Every week it's somebody getting let down from their projections. And now they're doing reports after the weeks where it says the highest score and the lowest score, and then it will tell you the difference between I got another report about one of my guys. The difference between what the projected was compared to what they actually scored. Listen, that's all fine and dandy, but you're pretty much just telling us how much bullshit you did and how terrible of a projection you gave us. But like I said, does it give you that sense of pride? So coming into this week, I was going against Justin Fields, Christian McCaffrey, Rashad White, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Tyler Higbee, Marquise Brown, Saints D, Evan McPherson. So when it comes to luck in fantasy, you need it for a couple different reasons, especially when you have more than one league. You know what I mean? You need a little bit of luck if you're playing a guy who has 2, or you're playing another guy who has 1, 2, or 3 of your guys that you have in another league. When that happens, it's like, how do you have a clean sweep? How can you win one league and also win the other? Because if your one league is winning, your guys that are on the other team that you're playing against must be playing pretty well. So it's hard to find that balance. You know what I mean? You need a couple generational stinkers out of the other guys that you may not have out of the team that you're playing. I feel like I'm kind of rocking this table. 1 second. Back this thing up just right now, you feel me? There we go. Don't want to be fucking rocking this thing too much. So yeah, you got to look at it like that. And then you also got to look at luck when it comes to fantasy about just game script, how things are happening inside of the game. Okay? It's beautiful when your running back gets a chunk here, a chunk there, 6 yards here, 7 yards there. You're marching down the field. Your guy's looking sweet. He's making moves. He's breaking tackles. He's fucking catching rocks. He has a 20-yard breakout run to the damn 2-yard line. Gets tackled at the 2-yard line. And you know what I'm thinking? That's like the luck that I just don't possess in this game. Fantasy gods, they're like, this guy be putting together such delicious squads. I need to fuck them at some point. And it happens. It happens often for me. I don't know what it is, man. There's a couple different instances that happened this past week that were just like, it's only me that this is happening to. Don't get me wrong. There's millions of leagues out there, and that means that millions of guys have certain players that I have that have gotten unlucky, but it's just me with this luck. It's only me. Question me. Get a sip of this. So, going into that luck situation, guy breaks a 20-yarder, gets to the 2-yard line. He's huffing and puffing. Right? That's how he's huffing. Next thing you know, they're sending in the backup running back. Guy's been fresh. Hasn't even sniffed the field this drive. About to reap and vulture the benefits of your guy toting that rock. Next thing you know, first play after he gets taken out, inside gut, right? Inside gut. And you're hoping to God that defense fucking beats it up. Just absolutely destroys that inside gut. Destroys that inside gut. That's just disgusting. But that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping that the defense blows that shit up. Blows it up. He gets rocked for like a 1 yard loss. Coach sees it. He's like, motherfucker, you better get your stud ass back in there and finish up this fucking touchdown. It's not always how it happens. So he gets stopped at the fucking 3, loses a yard, and you're like, oh my God, please put him back in. No, instead, fucking line him up with a fullback in front. Little HB dive. Right over the top or right underneath. Motherfucker lands on his knee while the ball's just barely cracking the line. You're this close to maybe having another shot of 6 points on the fucking board, but I don't have that luck. Look at this fucking shirt. It's massive. Jesus. That's all I can look at. So it happened this week. Let's dive into the Thursday night game. Thursday night was massive for me. And usually I don't like to have a lot riding on Thursday nights because it sets the tone, man. It sets the tone. If you got a couple guys going, ooh, disgusting. Oh my God, Jason. Sorry, excuse me. If you got a couple guys going on Thursday night, I mean, 2, 3 guys on one team. I mean, that's like half of your production. One night, one game. Hoping that they put up big numbers, because if they don't, you're in a hole. And you got to wait until Sunday and pray that these guys are picking up the slack, you know? So this Thursday, man, I had a lot of guys riding on Thursday. In this league, I had Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. Looking at the game, pretty high scoring game. The Vikings weren't looking too good to start. But, you know, Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson are dogs, right? So looking at, this is what I wanted to say. Looking at how that picked up, waiver wires come around last week, and I see Kenneth Gainwell. And I grabbed him. And that's a story that I want to tell you for another league in a little bit of time. But then looking at some of the other stuff that happened, 33 minutes. It was a 13-minute to 33-minute discrepancy in possession with like however, I mean, what? There's 60 minutes in a football game, right? So that's 46 minutes of the time. I mean, we're talking about over 3/4 of the game, and my guys only had the ball for 13 minutes because the Eagles are just handing off the rock and just toting that bitch for 6, 7, 8, 10-yard gains. And my guys couldn't even get on the fucking field. I was livid. So I'm watching this. Justin Jefferson had a pretty good start. Love to see that, right? And then we get into it. Justin Jefferson starts putting up big numbers. And I'm sure everybody saw the play where Justin Jefferson caught the ball, kind of gets hit in the back. He kind of lunges forward. Next thing you know, he's at like the 3, and he kind of tries to adjust to get the ball out to fucking cross the line. And this comes back to the luck that I do not have. The motherfucker has the best hands in the league. And he can't transition the ball from his chest to his hands to reach out across the line for the touchdown. Instead, he fumbles over the fucking pylon, goes out the back for a touchback, and I lose 2 fucking points. That's an 8-point swing on this motherfucker. Oh my God. Instead of a touchdown, I lost 2 points. That's 8 points I lost. 8 when you think about it. Could have been 6 more. Instead, it was 2 less. Add them up. That's fucking 8. 8 down the fucking drain. Oh, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. He popped off 11 reception, 159 yards. He clearly is. He's just showing why he was the number 1 pick this year, at least. Well, I was the number 2 pick. It's funny that I say that because I'm playing the guy who ended up getting the number 1 pick, Christian McCaffrey, and Justin Jefferson would just eat him alive. Eat him alive. Fucking love it. So Justin Jefferson pops off for me. TJ Hawkinson. I got a lot of you, Bubba. That's one thing. Thursday night, I had people sprinkled around the game, right? No Eagles, I don't think. I don't think I had any Eagles. But I had people sprinkled. Minnesota Vikings. I was a fucking Viking man that game, right? But I had Hawkinson in every single one of my leagues. Oh! And you're probably thinking, I don't really know how good he did, Josh. I wasn't really paying attention. It was Thursday night. I fucking, you know what I mean? All good stuff going on. Couldn't really watch the whole game. Well, you say that. I don't really give a damn. Because TJ Hawkinson popped off for 26 points. I mean, that boy is... Listen. I took out a lot of stock in TJ Hawkinson, hoping to God he panned out. And the son of a gun got me 26 points. Scored a touchdown early on in the game, right? Next thing you know, he kind of goes cold a little bit. I think he had like 13 points at like, or 14 points at the half. And then like he didn't catch another ball for like another quarter, right? I'm like, what's going on, man? Feed the man. Feed him. But the problem is when you have two guys in the same game, it's like a good thing and a bad thing, because if they were on a different team, they could be getting production at the same time. But one of the good parts is when you have them on the same team, there's a better chance, 2 times of a chance, that one of your guys is going to get involved at some point. You know what I mean? So if it's not TJ Hawkinson, hopefully it's Justin Jefferson. It's not Justin Jefferson, hopefully it's TJ Hawkinson. So TJ Hawkinson had that touchdown. You know, he kind of went cold in that third quarter. And then when Vikings were trying to start making like a little bit of a comeback in that fourth, the boy just starts getting fed. Just getting a little dump off, little 10-yard dumps. Kind of putting his fucking shoulder down, little couple extra yards for the boy. And then if I remember correctly, there was a 4th down. I like the midfield, right? I'm thinking to myself, okay, the boys they put together some good points for me, respectful points. I'll take this. If this is where it ends, this is where it ends. And if I remember correctly, Kirk Cousins hits my boy Justin J in like a little out route, or a little fucking, you know what I mean, like a little fucking up and out type deal, right at the sideline for a couple more points for the boy, right? So we get down into the goal line. I think we're at the 10 or something like that. And I think it may have been another like 3rd down situation. All I know is there wasn't a lot of time left. And TJ Hawkinson, a little up and in, little deal, little slant action, little drag across the middle. And I'm watching it, and I'm seeing Kirk, and he's fucking hopping. You know what I mean? The guy was getting eaten alive all fucking game. You know what I mean? No protection, for God's sake. I felt bad for the guy. The guy was getting literally smacked left and right. Every time he would throw the ball, he was getting clapped. But I saw him. You know what I mean? He's fucking in the pocket. He's not really moving his feet. He just kind of moves his head a little bit, because his feet are over like damn slow. You know what I mean? And I see TJ just dragging across the middle, and I'm like, you better throw that motherfucker. Throw it. I need to see it right now. Right? Honestly, the pass was shit. I guess he wanted to put a little touch on it, but honestly, when he threw it, I mean, that thing was in the air for about 15 seconds, easy. 15 seconds for the ball to be in the air for 15 seconds. It's a long fucking time. I don't even know if that's probably like a world record or something. But 15 seconds, that thing was just spinning. I mean, it was like in slow-mo for me, right? I could see every time the laces would turn over that ball. You know what I mean? I could count them. I counted. I think it was about 37, if I remember correctly. And I see fucking TJ right at the line, like literally just riding that line, baby. Grips it, falls into the zone for a quick tutty for the boy. I mean, that was like a 10-yard, and with a catch and a touchdown, that's 8 points. Skyrocketed through the roof. Ends up with 26. So looking at the rest of the week, talking about Thursday, I go into Sunday with a pretty juicy lead. My projection was high. I was feeling good. And then Sunday starts, right? I have Christian McCaffrey in another league. Next thing you know, Christian McCaffrey has like 18 points at half. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's what I'm talking about. When you're juggling, you know what I mean? When you're juggling and you got a fucking, multiple players on multiple teams, same team, fucking multiple teams, same player, multiple teams, and you're fucking juggling them up, and you're hoping to God that he pops, but not pops too much that makes the other team lose. It's difficult. So he goes for like 18 in the first half, something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a fucking long one, right? And I'm watching Justin Fields. He started off pretty hot. You know what I mean? He had a couple, actually, he only had 3 rush yards, buns. But he did have a TD rush. Yeah, he rushed for a touchdown. I was like, fuck, bro. I mean, give it to the running back for your boy. That's the luck I'm talking about. When stuff works out for others, it usually doesn't work out for me in fantasy. Like whenever there's a 1 yard, they're at the fucking goal line and they're like, oh, I could hand it off to the running back who's my guy, or I'm playing against the quarterback and they decide to fucking run that bullshit ass QB sneak where they push them from the back. That's what happens to me. That's what they decide to do. And then my running back's in the back and he's like, yeah, cool, yeah. Like he's happy that they score, but he has no idea the absolute damage that he just did to my week. He's happy that his team's winning. How about my motherfucking team, huh? Get in the end zone, brother. So looking at that, Fields started off pretty good. Christian McCaffrey got him some fucking fat points to start. Rashad White, I'm watching that game. The guy was just getting dump offs left and right, bro. 5 receptions, 30 yards, and a TD rush. I'm like, Jesus, Lord, have mercy, please. I'm begging. After coming off a game that he scored 0 points, T. Higgins goes for 2 touchdowns, 8 catches, 89 yards for 29 points. Devontae Smith, 4 catches. You're probably thinking, 4 catches. Kind of an ass day for the old Devontae man. Think again. 4 catches. Motherfucker had 131 yards and a tutty. And I'm watching that on Thursday night. I'm like, oh my, are you kidding? Just tackle him before he gets in the end zone. I'm pretty sure that he caught it and kind of shook a little tackle. Grab onto those little fucking legs and get his ass on the ground. And then Higbee was buns. Got him 3 catches, 12 yards. And then I had Marquise Brown in another league. Like I said, I'm fucking juggling over here. 3 leagues. It's just too much. It's too much. Look at Marquise Brown. 6 catches, 54 yards, but the motherfucker had a tutty. Love it for my other league. Hated it for this one, right? So this is for a whopping total of 147 points. 147 points. I mean, that's a lot of points. Damn it, right? So I'm like, okay, I mean, the boys are going to have to pop. And you got to understand, this is the league. I don't really have many running back options right now because Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor are both out. I got Javonte Williams in my RB1 slot. Not ideal. Even though I love the guy. I mean, they just got to feed him the rock a little bit more. What are we doing here, Sean Payton? Javonte Williams in that RB1 slot. I picked up Zach Moss, dropped Deion Jackson's bitch ass because he was ruining my fucking vibe. Ruin him. The boy popped. Huh? Listen, if I have a waiver wire pickup that pans out, I am through the roof with the vibes. I mean, you can't beat it. When you decide to pick up somebody later on the season based off of pure potential and it pans out and all your other teammates are like, oh shit, like he had a great game. Like, let me go check the waivers. Maybe I can pick him up. And they see that you have to trade for him. And then right on the top right, it says who's owned by. And you see motherfucking my name. Ooh! It just gets me going, baby. It just gets me fucking going, and I love it. So Zach Moss gets me 21 points. Justin Jefferson, 25. Amon-Ra, bro, 102 yards. This is another situation. Yeah, this is another situation. I'm pretty sure he fumbled like right before he was about to score. Another 8-point swing. He had 6 catches, 102 yards, and then he fumbled. He fumbled that rock. And I lost out on a touchdown and lost 2 points. TJ Hawkinson, 26 points. Had Terry McLaurin going because I kind of game what wasn't me in that flex. Terry McLaurin goes in there, has a mean catch. 5 catches, 54 yards, and a tutty, gets me 16.4. I got that Cowboys D going against the New York Jets, puts up 16. I got Young Ho Lips putting up 13 for the old Atlanta Falcons. For a whopping total 158 pointeronies. Listen, Dylan O'Toole, he came to me before the week started and he said, you want to put a little side bet on this action? I said, bro, I got Javonte Williams that's projected 13 points. Zach Moss is projected like, I don't know. I think he was projected like 10. I was like, I have no running backs right now. I have to put Terry McLaurin in after he had a dud last week. I'm honestly not feeling the best about my situation at running backs right now. It's a little risky. And Dak Prescott had a stinker last week. He put up 20 for me. I forgot to say. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit down on this side bet. I need to see how some of these guys perform before I start making side bets. I mean, Lord have mercy. Zach Moss just came off of a broken arm. Give him a break. I should have made the bet because I cracked that ass. Beat him by 11 points. Yeah, I know. Fires me up too. Oh, God. Yeah, well, back-to-back champs? Yeah, more like back-to-back ass cheeks, huh? So looking at the next week, well, let's go to the bench real quick. Like I said, Alvin Kamara and JT are both out. Kenneth Gainwell sat out, pissed me off. Kadarius Toney had a pretty decent game. Cortland Sutton had a pretty decent game, 11.6. Kadarius Toney, 8.8. Jaylen Warren had a solid game too, 12.6. The guy that I was excited that I got but didn't trust because I wanted to see it one more week before I even made that risk. I hope everybody knows Puka Nacua, I think is how you pronounce it. Had him on the bench, and that was 30.1 points. Let's just say if I would have thrown him in anywhere, wide receiver 2, flex spot, I mean, I would have topped out at what? I mean, I would have topped out about 170. I mean, listen, it wouldn't even been close, okay? So looking at my squad, okay, and this was a problem when the league started, was I was a little skeptical about my running backs, right? I was like, bro, until Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor come back, I need Javonte Williams and somebody in that RB2 slot to fill that void and to make some plays for him. I just got to get out with a couple wins. I mean, I almost won last week, lost by 0.04 points, won this week. After this week, I'm starting to look like an absolute just juggernaut. And I'll tell you why. So when all that shit was going on with my running backs, man, I'm scrambling. Just Sunday morning breakfast, scrambled up eggs, baby. And I'm looking for anything, any lifeline I can get for a running back to just make me, salvageable for the first 2-3 weeks until Alvin Kamara comes back, and then possibly 4 weeks until Jonathan Taylor comes back. Still no idea what's going on with that situation. But then after this week, man, team's looking solid. So when I was trying to piece together those running backs, freaking out trying to find a couple, fill-ins, grabbed Kenneth Gainwell. DeAndre Swift is pissing me off because he had a great game, but grab Kenneth Gainwell. I've been holding on to some running backs, hoping that something happens. And it happened this morning. I've had Kareem Hunt on the bench for like 3 weeks, just waiting. Just waiting for that thing to drop, that Adam Schefter bombski. You know what I mean? And he finally came. Listen, I don't know if it's going to be substantial enough that he's like breaking my starting running backs, maybe a flex situation. Nick Chubb's out. Pray for the guy. I mean, what a terrible, terrible injury he just suffered. And then Ford comes in and he looked serviceable, right? He looked serviceable. But at the same time, Kareem Hunt has been in the system. He was just there last year, but Nick Chubb kind of started taking over that backfield like completely. Like he was just barely getting like really any run at all. But that's because Nick Chubb is probably like the best pure runner in the league. So now Kareem Hunt is going to have that backfield, and competition is far less than what Nick Chubb is. So can Kareem Hunt end up being an RB2, a flex? In my eyes, I think it's possible. I think with that, if Nick Chubb, I mean, Kareem Hunt is not Nick Chubb, but if he's running the way he's shown that he can, I think he can end up being, and he's a great pass catcher, PPR situation, gotta love it. I think he could end up being like a solid RB2, maybe a flex Johnson and Johnson. I love it. So not only I got Kenneth Gainwell that could be, depending on the Swift situation, he's going to be splitting carries, splitting whatever, but he's a solid running back. Kareem Hunt could end up being very solid. Jaylen Warren, after last week's game, Najee Harris looked like, last week, more like Monday night. Jaylen Warren looked like the clear better back. I mean, Najee Harris looks like he got motherfucking cement in his shoes. Jaylen Warren is toting that thing. The guy's tiny, but that guy got some fight in him. Guy's taking that rock and he's scurrying around, you know what I mean? Good pass catcher too. Gotta love that. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of him. And then, like I said, I got Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin on the pine. Looking at the lineup, just talking about my bench, man. Alvin Kamara, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Warren, Kadarius Toney, Kareem Hunt, Kenneth Gainwell, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these guys are easy flex options. Easy. Terry McLaurin's projected 12.4. Cortland Sutton, 11.4. Jalen Warren, 12.2. Kenneth Gainwell, 10.5. I mean, we know what Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor are going to be projected, 15 plus. I mean, these guys are serviceable guys, but my starting lineup is already projected over 131 points without any of those guys in that bitch. All right. Zach Moss is becoming a guy. I'm hoping Jonathan Taylor gets traded at this point, because if Jonathan Taylor gets traded, Zach Moss will continue to be that guy. And he looked good. He looked good this past week. I threw Puka Nacua in that flex spot, projected 16.2. I mean, the guy has how many catches? 25 catches throughout the first week. He got targeted 20 times last week, sitting on my pine. Like I said, I like to see it. And it's okay because I ended up winning the week. Bottom line is, my 12-team league is becoming like my deepest league. My bench is like absurd right now. And the starters are gnarly. I mean, you look at my squad and you're like, wow. I mean, could I probably get a little bit better of a quarterback? Most likely. But if Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor come back and I'm rocking Dak Prescott, Alvin, Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, and if Puka continues to play the way he's playing, even if Cooper Kupp comes back and he takes what? The guy's averaged what? 30, he had 30 targets in the first. No, he had 35 targets. Yeah, 35 targets, 25 catches in the first 2 weeks. If he takes, so what? That's like over 17 targets a game. Over 17 targets a game. And if they take 7 of those targets or 10 of those targets, he's still getting 7 targets a game. That's still very serviceable. And he seems to be a stud too, bro. Fucking locking it up. Quick hands, crispy feet. So looking at that, I'm feeling good about this league. I'm 1-1. I needed to win this game, bro. Honestly, going into Monday night, there was a chance because he had the Saints D. I just needed the Saints D to not pop off. And they put up 9, so I was cool with it, right? So going into my 10-team league, I'll have to kind of get a move on. I'm already 32 minutes in. These bitches been long. But like I said, I'm excited. Very excited to talk to you, talk to us, talk to me. Thursday night, like I said, I had TJ Hawkinson going. And I had Alexander Madison going. And if you watch the game, you're probably thinking to yourself, Joshy boy, I'm feeling for you. Alexander Madison looked like shit. And I would look back at you and I would say, yeah, he did. He did look like shit. And it hurt me to my core. And this is something that it kind of goes back to some of that luck situation. Not necessarily luck, but just like how things don't always play out in fantasy. Because 13 minutes possession to 33 minutes at one point. If my guys aren't on the field, they're not scoring points, right? And then with Alexander Madison, some stuff happened during the game. Like he had a pretty decent run. Jesus. Had a pretty decent run. So he got taken out for like a little bit of a breather. First play, as soon as he gets taken out, a little screen that goes for a couple yards. And I was like, bro, right there, that's 1.5 yards for me. I needed that because Alexander Madison was looking like shit, right? So I needed that. He gets put in after the screen. Kirk Cousins goes to him for a little dump off. He drops it. I'm like, oh my Lord, have mercy. I mean, that's 2 plus 3 plus points right there that I just left off the board because my guy couldn't handle it. Then looking at it, what else I get? No. Yep. Okay. So looking at some of the other stuff that happened that game, TJ Hawkinson pops off, which I love, 26 points. Alexander Madison ends up fumbling also. He fumbles. I mean, bro, you got to do better for me. Fumbles. He has 3 catches, 11 yards, 28. I mean, bro, you want to give me 4.9. And like I said, Thursday night games, you can get put in a hole or you can get shot put into glory on those Thursday night games because If the guys perform, you're sitting pretty, and if they don't, you're climbing out of holes, right? So Alexander Madison, 4.9, TJ Hawkinson, because he had such a big game, because he put up 26, it made up for the stinker that generational stinker for all those people out there that say, I think that's a funny ass term. Generational stinker is one of my favorite terms. Generational stinker out of Alexander Madison with 4.9 points. But because TJ Hawkins carried that weight, he made it work for me. And I came out looking decent after Thursday night. In this league, I was playing my boy Cody Brussels Sprouts. And he's got a little squad on him, you know what I mean? He has Tua, Pollard, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, Pat Freiermuth. And this is something that happened to me often this week, is there was injuries around the league. And this is one of my, okay, so this is one of my least, let me restart. Let me juice this up a little bit more for you. This is one of my least favorite things that happen in life. I'm not just talking fantasy football here. In fantasy, injuries occur throughout the week, throughout the league. And the guy that you're playing that next week just so happens to have whatever backup running back or backup, usually it's running back, backup running back is on their bench just waiting to just chomp at the bit, just to take all the carry, take all the points. It happened to me 3 times this week. Joshua Kelly, when Austin Eckler went out, Kelly had an absolute game, not an absolute game, but he had a solid game the week before. 91 yards and a tutty, 15.1 as a backup running back. And Austin Eckler put up great numbers that week too. So I'm just like, oh, great. Austin Eckler's out. He has an immediate RB2, RB1 flex option that he can put in, which he did. But it bit him right in the ass. And there's nothing better when you're playing somebody and they think they got something. They're like, oh, motherfucker. You see this plug and play option I got right here waiting for you to cook you for this 1 week? He might be out next week, but for this week, when I'm playing you, he's about to cook your ass. And I know Cody Brussels Sprouts was thinking that. I know he was. I know my opponent was thinking that. Puts in Joshua Kelly, gets him 3.9 points, 39 yards on the ground, not a single catch. Oh, man, does that fire me up, right? And I'm sure if he wasn't to put anybody else in that spot, probably would have been like Mike Williams or like Miles Sanders. And actually looking at it, it could have been the difference. And I'm probably giving you a little bit too much, but that's what it is. Tua gets him 12.5. Pollard, 20. Mixon, 13.5. Jamar Chase, they continue the stinkers over there in Cincinnati. Just not good games by those boys. Got him 9.1 and then 8.1 this week. I mean, for him to be a top 3 pick, and that's the production he's giving you. Hey, I didn't pick him. Couldn't be me. Huh? Couldn't be me. There's nothing better than choosing the right first pick. And so far, it's you know what I mean? Knock on wood. It's been, I'm happy that I don't have Jamar Chase right now. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to end up being fantastic. But for the first 2 weeks when I'm playing him, I love to see 8.1. If you're giving me 8.1 as your number 1 pick, I am, ecstatic. But then that's where it gets down to Keenan Allen, bro. I faded Keenan Allen this year. I didn't trust him. He's getting older. He's been injury prone. I didn't have much faith in the guy, right? He goes out there and he scores 2 touchdowns, 8 catches, 111 yards, puts up 31 points on your boy. And this was early on a Sunday, man. And I'm just like, son of a bitch, bro. But the good thing was Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon was kind of putting up little stinkies. And so Keenan Allen was kind of keeping them up to date, but it was just the fact that Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase was underperforming, so it was all right? And then Joshua Kelly had that stinker. And then the Cowboys D, who I also had 16 points. So I'm like, all right, he's putting up decent numbers right now. I need Tua to chill. Make sure he chills, right? Because I wanted Tua to play well, but I needed him to play not well enough. And if he was playing well, to go to Tyreek Hill. And that's like the funny thing. Like another fun thing about fantasy is when you got to rely on another team's player for your player to play well, right? Because without Tua, Tyreek there was no value there. I mean, of course, they're going to have a quarterback in there at some point. Doesn't matter if it's Tua. Tyreek's going to get his points. But what I'm saying is, if Tua plays well, there's a good chance that Tyreek plays well. So that's the dance. You know what I mean? That's the fucking cha-cha slide, baby. That's the fucking tango that you're going back and forth with, just hoping that Tyreek plays well, but hoping that Tua doesn't play well enough to end up beating you. So it's like, it's give and take, because you want Tua to play well, so you're giving opportunities to Tyreek, but when he's playing well, you need it to go to Tyreek. Because what happens if Tua goes out there, throws 4 touchdowns, and Tyreek doesn't catch a single one of those fucking touchdowns? I'm fucked, right? So looking at it, I got Deshaun Watson. Didn't play very well on Monday night, but that's for a little later part in this little segment. Ramondre Stevenson and Tyreek Hill were going at the same time. They were in the same game. Luckily enough, they both had touchdowns, but they had mediocre games for other than that. Ramondre Stevenson, 50 yards on the ground, 3 catches, 10 yards, but the touchdown gave him 15 points, right? Tyreek Hill scores a touchdown early. I don't know what they were. I think they were probably going like cover safeties up top, like almost like an umbrella type defense that was like not allowing him to like get, those big chunk plays. So a lot of his catches, he had 5 catches, which were solid, but they were underneath little like hitches and stuff like that. So he ended up with 5 catches, 40 yards, but he had a little out route for a tutty. So Tua only had a tutty. He threw for 1 touchdown, but that touchdown was to your boy. So that means Tua might have had 4 right there, but Tyreek with the catch and the touchdown, motherfucker got seal points. You hear me? So looking at the squad, Ramondre Stevenson, 15. Alexander Madison, 4.9. Makes me sick. Tyreek Hill, 15. Chris Olave on Monday night started off very slow. Even though he had like 6 targets, he only had like 1 catch. And then he had like a great one-handed catch. And that's another thing, bro. Like I got unlucky in a lot of instances. So Cody puts up 110. All right. Going into Monday night, I think I had like 70 points or something like that. He had like 100 or something like that, or like 108 or something. It was like 108, right? So I had like 70 something points, and I had Deshaun Watson, Chris Olave, and the Saints D, right? Fortunate enough for me, Pat Freiermuth laid a stinker, right? Ends up with 110 points, 0.96, right? Chris Olave was having a decent game. Then he starts kind of popping off. He gets to 14, like he gets to like 12 something points, right? Still a lot of game left. He catches a little out route, gets around a defender, starts tight roping the sideline. On the field, it was called a touchdown. I'm in bed like this. Yeah! I mean, motherfucker, I'm in bed like this. Like some fool. First off, who's really doing this? Even in the stadium, you look like a Nimrod. I'm in bed, arms up. I'm yelling. The puppy's fucking looking at me like, "What the fuck's going on, Dad? Is everything okay?" Right? Little does he know that I'm feeling on top of the world. Chris Olave just scored a touchdown in a tight ass game where I needed it the most. Next thing you know, the review comes in. His fat ass feet. Oh man. Bro, if you had a little bit more narrow feet, I know the Nikes you wearing are fucking widespreads. Those bitches probably 11 W's. Get some narrow ass fucking feet. Slim down those feet, huh? Because man, he was out by this much. Little pan feet. Chris Olave's pan feet cost me a touchdown. You could just narrow those bitches up. Maybe like some Addy Zeros or something like that. Those bitches are so narrow. Squeeze your feet in nice and tight like, He ends up stepping out. And of course, he doesn't end up scoring the touchdown. Lost me, 8 points right there. All right, so going into it, bro, we're looking at Chris Olave. He finishes his game with 15 points. Saints defense finishes with 9. Deshaun Watson was like the only guy I had left. And there was still like a half of the game was left. He still had Pat Freiermuth, and he had like 108 points. And I was at like 105. Next thing you know, Deshaun Watson throws a pick. I'm back to like 103. Gets a couple more yards. We're back up to 106. Next thing you know, he fucking throws a touchdown. We jump up to like 110. So now it's 110. Pretty much he had 111. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. All of my marbles are in Deshaun Watson's hand right now. Next thing you know, he fucking scurries around a little bit, right? You know, scurries around, gets a couple more yards. Didn't really run for many yards this game. He had 22 rushing yards. So he kind of totes around, you know, kind of gets me a couple points here and there. I'm watching my scorers teeter back and forth. Projected what he's doing. Pat Freiermuth had 1 catch for 2 yards. I know that makes Cody sick. Looking at what Deshaun Watson was doing, you know, we would get to like 109. And I'm like, oh, bro, I got this in the bag. We got like a quarter and a half left. He can't get me a point and a half or 1 point, whatever. Next thing you know, he fumbles. He gets stripped. TJ Watt, touchdown. I'm like, oh my God. I dropped back down to like 108 or 107. I don't know. I don't know the fucking math. All I know is I'm sweating bullets. My hands were here. Now they're here. They're tucked away in my fucking shorts, right? With however many time left, they're down. And that was the good part about it. Steelers end up going up. Oh, because all I could think about is if the Browns are up right now and next thing you know, they just start handing off the rock and like Deshaun Watson's not even throwing it, I'm screwed. I'm gonna end up losing by a point, just like I hair in my mouth, gross. I'm gonna end up losing by a point or less, like I did last week in the other league. I couldn't fathom that pain again. All right, Deshaun Watson ends up getting me 11.6. I end up winning by 2 points, motherfucker. And I didn't need this game, but I liked it because now I'm 2-0. But one thing I do need to speak out loud is that some of my guys on the bench were still popping. I benched Garrett Wilson, which ended up not being a good thing, but he only had 2 catches, 83 yards in that touchdown. He had that long touchdown and saved his day. A.J. Dillon sucked for me. Cortland Sutton had a decent game. Nico Collins, been waiting for my guy. Goes ahead and pops off for 28 points. I'm telling you, bro. He had a good week 1. He has a good week 2. He's going to be a sleeper. I might even have to move him for a couple more pieces. So that looked good. Ended up winning that week. I need something to be addressed. I need to address something once more. I have 3 leagues going. Looking at my 10-team league, I need it to be known. I need this to be known. I have scored the most points in this league. Let's go over to the other league. My other 12 team. I have scored the most points in this league also. Huh? Let's go over to the 3rd league. I have also scored the most points in that league. Listen here, baby boy. Oh! I've gone 2-1 in each week. Spoiler alert. But if my teams are putting up big numbers, the wins will come. The wins will come. I want production. I mean, I don't always need to see a W. But if my team goes out there and puts up fat points and I end up losing, that's just the name of the game, baby. But if you look at the standings and your points for are more than everybody else, I mean, you're a big dick swinging, baby. You are swinging that motherfucker because everybody's like, wow, kid's doing something right. I mean, my squads are looking fire, baby. So let's go on over to the other 12-team league. And this is where it got a little upsetting. My team was looking solid. My team was looking real solid. But I was playing a couple guys that just had damn good weeks. I played against the Cowboys D again, something that I despise doing this week. But he had Rashad White. He had CeeDee Lamb. He had Keenan Allen. He had Travis Kelce. I mean, if you paid attention this week, all those guys, 21.3, 25.3, 31.1. Keenan Allen gave it to me on 2 leagues, bro. I mean, Listen, I know I faded you a lot in drafts, but because I faded you, bro, because I didn't pick you, go ahead, pop off for 62 combined on your boy. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? Keenan, right? So looking at it, he put up fat stacks, bro. He put up 159 points. And I'm like, how am I gonna combat this? I got Christian McCaffrey on my squad. I'm playing him in my other league. I can't have him go for 40 because that's gonna fuck me over there. And I needed that win. I already won last week in this one. I needed to make sure that I came out of this week with a win in every single league. All right. I lost a tough one. I was 0-1 in one league last week. I won that one. I won last week in this one. So I was like, as long as I can sneak out a win in the one that I do not have a win in, I'll be happy. It's okay. If I end up 1-1 in all three of my leagues, that's fine. I didn't. I ended up being 2-1 on my, but I'm happy about the fact that I got wins, 1-1 records in those two other leagues. It's not a big deal. I'm happy with it. Like I said, my team's putting up mucho grande pointalones. Okay. So I go out there, bro, and I put up 141 points. I mean, what the fuck are you going to do? Geno Smith gives me 23. Christian McCaffrey, 22.5. Alexander Madison, you son of a bitch, gets me 4.9. Amon-Ra, 14.2. Chris Olave, 14.6. TJ Hawkinson, there's that boy again. God, I love you. Marquise Brown, who I was playing in another league, 17.5. Commanders D's 9. Brandon McManus, 10. Had some guys on the bench that could have helped me. Daniel Jones got me 30 on the bench. Zach Moss got me 21 on the bench. So I ended up losing by 17, bro. I mean, I was the second most scorer, like the highest scorer on the week. And I'll take it. I'm not going to be happy about it. Don't get me wrong. If I score the second most points in the league for that week and I lose, I'm going to be so incredibly just irate with rage. But then you got to look at the bright side. I'm putting up mucho grande points, baby. If I was playing anybody else in this motherfucking league, I'll be winning these games. So it's a double-sided coin. You got to kind of take the good with the bad. I ended up losing, but like I said, I have scored the most points in all my leagues, so I'm happy about that. Waiver wire pickups, I ended up grabbing Matt Breida because of the situation with Saquon Barkley. But other than that, man, my team is looking solid. I got Zach Moss in the flex. Alexander Madison, I just need him to step a little bit, but my receivers look good. Tight ends look good. Marquise Brown on the bench, Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, Matt Breida, Jonathan Taylor's still out. They're looking solid. Other than that, I think that's about it for waivers and all that shit. Check my notes real quick. I do have notes for you guys. Just want to make sure that, I'm locked and loaded. Got some good content for the gang. I got another report. Nothing crazy though. Okay. But looking at some of my notes, just want to make sure I went over everything. Yeah. Other than that, I think we might be good. I think I crossed all the boxes there, baby. But yeah, another week. I hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys are winning those weeks. Hopefully you guys got like Kareem Hunt or like a Ford might be a good pickup depending on how much they use them. Breida for a streamer for this week, whatever. Be pleasant and be present on those waiver wires and see if you can grab. This is the time. Early on in the years when you start finding those sleepers, you know what I mean? The guys that weren't really getting a ton of juice in the beginning of like training camp and shit. Now they're popping off like Puka. I mean, yeah, Cooper Kupp is hurt, but Jesus Christ. I mean, he's setting records right now. So, I mean, just be attentive, guys. First off, you don't want to be in a league. You never want to be in a league when your other members are like non-existent. It makes it no fun, especially if they're not talking trades. And that's one thing I wanted to say before I got out of here. I got a trade request right before I started this podcast. Sorry about that. Had a little technical difficulties. I apologize. Real quick, just wanted to tell you about the trade I got sent right before this shit started. I got a little notice saying that somebody was interested in my star back, Christian McCaffrey. I got this trade proposal. Christian McCaffrey for Dak Prescott, Damian Pierce, and Jerome Ford. You better get out of my face and come correct when you're talking about that boy CMC. I'm telling you that right now. Listen, I'm all about trades. Don't be in a league and fucking be unattentive. Don't be in a league and shut down trades all the time. Like, let's enjoy fantasy. And part of fantasy is fucking putting together trades and fucking finding sleepers and shit. It's what makes it fun. You know what I mean? What makes fantasy fun is okay. Let me say this one more time. What makes fantasy fun is acting like a fucking GM, baby. Making trades, fucking weighing offers, looking at other guys that can better your squad. I mean, that's the fun of fantasy. Don't be somebody who's not talking shit. Don't be somebody who's like shutting down every trade offer and doesn't want to listen to trades. Like, don't be that guy. Be the guy who's fucking putting out ass trades. This trade's terrible, but I'm glad you sent it. Gives me something to think about it. I thought about it. It sucks, but thanks for sending it. Thanks for being somebody who's involved. You know? So send trades, have fun, win games, and watch this motherfucking podcast if you want. I mean, fuck, whatever. If you want it, you can. If you don't, fuck, whatever. I mean, watch it. That'd be cool. But that's pretty much it, guys. I love you all. Appreciate you guys watching. You know, I enjoy doing this, and I'll be back next week. Remember, this is Joshua Lamb. You can't silence the lamb. You just can't. And this is not your grandma's fantasy football podcast. Remember it. Tell your grandmothers to sit this one out unless you don't want to hear me cuss like a sailor. I love you all. Until next week.